Well, welcome to another edition of More Bad News, brought to you as always by Camel Cigarettes. Take the Camel's Challenge, smoke Camels for 30 days, and see for yourself what a difference this product can make in your life. Well, my friends, it's been another week of very bad news. The CDC reported last week that a lethal fungus called Candida auris, C. auris, is spreading rapidly through hospitals and nursing homes around the country. Its spread was a result of the COVID pandemic, which lowered people's immune systems and allowed the fungus to spread and proliferate. We don't have a cure for it, but it appears to be deadly, mostly to the elderly and immune compromised. So once again, you healthy people don't really need to worry about it. This is only something for the elderly and the immune compromised, who obviously we don't care about. The increase, especially in the most recent years, are really concerning to us, according to a study by Dr. Megan Lyman, Chief Medical Officer of the CDC's Mycotic Disease Branch. The CDC's new warning published in the Annals of Internal Medicine. Unfortunately, multi-drug resistant organisms such as C. auris have become more prevalent among our highest risk individuals, such as residents of long-term care facilities, Dr. Byers said. And on April 20th, a PBS broadcast by William Brangham on Amanpour and Company, really excellent news program, reported on an international study compiled satellite measurements over time and depict what one researcher described as a devastating trajectory of the ice melting in Greenland and the polar caps. Despite the fact that we are hurtling towards extinction, these are the best of times if you're interested in learning about the universe, about just about anything. You want to study the Talmud, there's plenty out there. You want to study the Quran, there are YouTube channels for everything. So we just this week discovered that a never-before-seen supermassive black hole that is not at the center of a galaxy. Instead, it's been ejected from its galaxy by a colossal collision of 3 different galaxies. And Friday evening, we celebrated the end of Nisan and Ramadan, the Jewish and Muslim calendars this year running parallel for Ramadan and Nisan. So Friday evening was Eid al-Fitr. At Ferris during Ramadan, the Muslim students would gather at each other's dorms room in the evening to break their fast, and I participated in several of these gatherings. The reason why Muslims love Ramadan so much is that it's really a time when people get together a lot. They do a lot of socializing. It's a wonderful time of year, and the way Jews think of Passover, Pesach, Muslims think of Ramadan. I just wanted to share with you. So this is my Quran. It's wonderful. It has the original Arabic and English and lots of commentaries. So it's kind of like a Mikros Gedolos for the Quran, a gift to me from my dear friend Muhammad Haq. And while at Ferris, I had so many Saudi students treat me like family that I now see Saudi Arabia as another country like Israel, a place where my family lives. So I might not like Mohammed bin Salman or Benjamin Netanyahu, but I think of my family when I think of Israel and Saudi Arabia. I feel an attachment to both places. So this week also, my dear friend Aviva Cantor, the author of a wonderful book, Jewish Women, Jewish Men, The Legacy of Patriarchy in Jewish Life, 1995. And of course, since I'm holding up books, this is her book. I've got a couple of 100 copies of this one. She was storing the copies that hadn't sold. So I've got plenty of extra copies if anybody's interested. And she sent me this medallion, which she bought in 1963, and it's for the 20th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto, 1943 to 1963. We're approaching the 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto. It's a beautiful medal, and it says on it, I will give them an everlasting name, and then it says in Hebrew, "V'natati lohem Yad V'Shem Asher Lo Yizkor. And it's the origins of the name of the organization. Yad Vashem is Yad, a hand, Vashem, a name, and Yad is often it means a pillar or a monument. So Yad Vashem is colloquially translates into a monument, an everlasting monument, Yad Vashem. So I thought that since we are approaching the 80th anniversary, I would share with you a little bit of one of a book that had profound influence on me. This is Notes from the Warsaw Ghetto. It is Emanuel Ringelblum. Ringelblum was a historian, a social Zionist, a follower of Ber Borochov, the founder of the labor Zionist movement. Aviva was a close friend of Borochov's sister, Nadja Borochov, who came to New York from Ukraine in 1902 and died in 1982. So Aviva and I were both active in the Jewish Liberation Project, a labor Zionist organization based on Borochov's Zionist ideas. So I thought I would say a few words about Ringelblum and the Warsaw Ghetto and read an entry, a little bit of an entry from April 1943. Quote, the last week of August 1939, Ringelblum, this is from the introduction, Ringelblum was in Geneva as a delegate to the 21st World Zionist Congress. Panic broke out among the Polish delegates when news came of Germany's mobilization. Some of the Polish delegates decided to go to Palestine, others to fly to Paris or London, and from there to try to emigrate to the United States. But Ringelblum, with the other delegates of his party, decided to return to Warsaw. And he returned to Warsaw with his family and remained throughout the occupation, dying in the ghetto in April 1943. So I wanted to leave you with just a snip of, this is Ringelblum's entry for April 17th, 1943. There was a fearful scene in front of the office of the refugee organization on the eve of Passover. A group of 7,000 to 8,000 refugees gathered, waiting for matzah and other packages generally. The whole horror of the present situation was revealed. People who had applied for free packages, whose neighbors considered them to be persons of means, and who a short time before had been able to help others. The disappointment of those who could not receive packages is indescribable. The high cost of living, he goes on to explain. And there's just no food, even if you have the cards to buy food with. So he says that a friend whom I wished a calm Passover, which was last year's motto, replied, rather wish me an easy fast. So I found reading the Ringelblum's Warsaw Ghetto Diary very inspiring and very useful for those of us now facing life in a very difficult time. So I'll leave it there. I'm going down to visit with one of my former students, and Mohammed. This is the most common name for Muslim students. If you saw a group of students on campus and you said, "Hey, Mohammed," three of them at least, were going to turn around and. This is a boy I love. He was a student of mine some 20 years ago. He's getting his PhD now, I guess 15 years. He's getting his PhD now from the pharmacy school, and I'm going to meet him to give him a little gift. So that's it for this week. I'll see you next week, and have a good week. Enjoy, and I'll be back next week with more bad news.